Welcome to another episode of Brothers, Battles, and Bounty, where family, business, and success converge. We are your hosts. I am Andreas.
I'm Stefan.
I'm Anton.
I'm Martin.
And today we are going to talk about the economy, resources, and a multiple of things. And we came up with this concept from, who did we hear it from?
Dan Sullivan's book.
Dan Sullivan, which is, want to talk a little nugget of Dan Sullivan?
Yeah. Andreas and I have participated in strategic coaching. This is our third year. It's a 3-year program, beginning our third year. And Dan Sullivan is the founder and leader of the strategic coach. He has made it a goal to write a book every quarter. So he has a 25-year plan to write 100 books. And this is one of probably it's in 40 or 50 books that he's written. And it's called The Melt Costs. And it's based on Peter Zeihan. Anybody heard of Peter Zeihan?
No.
Okay. He's a political geography guy who researched a bunch of things, but Dan took his data and wrote this book on melt.
Actually, I have heard of him. That's the book John had referenced. Anyway, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
he might have
is-
talked to
what is
anyway.
melt? What's melt?
Money, energy,
acronym, yeah.
cost. It's an acronym. You want to?
I don't mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's an acronym which identifies the 4 key areas of commerce in the world, international commerce and domestic. And it stands for material, energy,
Logistics.
labor,
Labor.
and transportation.
Transportation.
And those 4 elements combined are really what makes up the business environments in a more concise way. And by focusing on those 4 key elements in business, where the idea is to optimize the leveraging of them going forward, but a lot of it's out of your control, like, transportation, like during COVID, it got
Well, that's interesting because those 4 really haven't affected our business. have they?
no, not
That's,
at all.
yeah,
That's
so I don't
good.
think I'm interested in reading that book. Yeah,
I think it affects every business
so-
the world
so-
over.
So conceptually, melt costs, have been around since the beginning of time. It's not something that's a new phenomena. And what's happened theoretically in the book is that our melt costs have doubled. Like we've had like a 25, 30-year run now where those costs have been very low. And our society has grown and prospered because of those costs being low, and everybody can benefit from it.
So those costs globally being low,
Yes,
whole world
the whole
has
world,
benefited
right. Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
economic
Yeah.
stability.
Of low
Yeah.
cost of money, energy, labor, and transportation. Well, COVID changed all that, and it's like a 20 or 30-year cycle where all of a sudden now all those costs worldwide have doubled. And it's affecting individuals, it's affecting companies, and it's affecting nations. And so that concept, we're now into a new era of, the low cost growth environment we've been in for most of our careers has kind of, the theory is it's come to an end, and now we're into all those costs have doubled, and the
Well,
folks.
we've seen it. We've seen it.
we're
And experienced
living
it. And
We're
you see
living it.
companies
We went
that, have tried to, navigate through those waters.
Yep.
And there's many of them that did not.
Did not
And
make it.
that
What would
couldn't
be
make
the-
it through.
That's
What
key.
would be a reason why they didn't make it through in reflecting on?
Probably they felt, oh, this is, short term, temporary. We don't have to adjust, that's a lot of work to adjust your pricing. And oh my God, we can't give price increases, or we're doing everything the most efficient way we can, which is never the truth, because there's always a better way to do things.
Yep.
We've been doing this for 40 years, and this is the best
And
way.
they were
And never
using-
adapted
yeah.
to it, and
It's an old
never
time
adjusted
memory.
their pricing until it was, potentially too late. The bank, your line of credit, and you can't get labor, you can't get your product out,
So
So-
what I hear you saying in summary is kind of like from being reactive to the transformation to being the ones that did do well. I'm now extrapolating. So we're proactive as it was happening.
correct.
We're adapting in real
Yeah.
time versus a past focus of time being, oh, it's going to go
Well,
away.
take a
Like,
look at one of the big things for us, material wise,
Yep.
is steel. That's our
Yep.
number one commodity that's used in our product line, both in tubing and flat roll steel. I mean, we've seen steel go from 18 cents a pound average
All
through
the
the
way
years.
up to
It fluctuated a little bit
60.
up and down, but it peaked at $1.10 a pound.
so wait,
So
that's
18 cents
It's a 20%.
300%.
to $1.10 a pound, which
Oh,
peaked.
what percent?
More
That's-
than that.
yeah.
That's if you take 18 to $1, that's like 500,
Yeah.
So it-
600, just
you
under
know,
600%.
It was slightly temporary, meaning it was a couple months, but 2-3 months of that, and you don't adjust your prices, and I don't have to tell you
Yeah.
what we were consuming. About 500,000 pounds per quarter.
It's a lot of money.
And that's only one element.
mean-
that's one element. We use tubing, which
Right.
is
Well, I'm
affected
saying
by
tubing
steel.
also.
And then you look at transportation. Transportation was scarce. You didn't. It was hard to get the logistics moving, and then all the truck lines they all raised it. I
But
don't know
going back to
what
the,
they
going back to
doubled,
the
but
steel before we move on to transportation is, steel then reset itself. It used to be, 18 to 25 cents a pound was kind of the norm in the United States.
Yeah.
It reset itself, and it's now probably the new norm is, 40 to 60 cents a pound.
It's a lot.
We're never going to see 18 cents or 25 cents or even 30 cents a pound steel, most likely. I don't think I'll ever see it again. Maybe, maybe not. But
Well, the same with
Um,
corrugated, paper
you got
a
products,
lot
same
of that.
commodities. We can make a whole list where
Everything.
that trend has.
but if
upward,
people
yeah.
didn't, if companies didn't adapt to that,
quickly enough.
They're out of business.
They're out of business.
And like an individual, if all of your costs are going up, and you don't manage them properly, you
run out of resources.
Well, a lot
you
of
run
times
out of resources.
companies have a better chance of surviving one of the 4 elements.
Yep.
But not
going
all
up.
of them.
All 4 of the melt elements
Yep.
did exactly what
Exactly.
steel
So that's
did.
a great transition point. So Anton, you were referencing the
Well,
transportation.
you had
portion.
transportation that was difficult to get. We had overseas, containers that went up 500%.
So a typical
600%.
container cost
It
what?
was
Usually-
4,000, went up to 24,000.
that's
I mean, and that all happened within what, 6 months?
yeah.
maybe not even
Repeat
that.
that again. That's worth
From
mentioning. 'cause that-
4,000 to 24,000 per
that's-
container.
So
per
that's a
container.
600%
And
increase,
and
roughly.
not only
More.
was it the increase, but then the time to get it stretched out. You had the ports all backed up, and you couldn't get things in here, and the trains that took it across the country were all backed up, and the yards and everything was. It was just chaos. It was just overload. Everything was shifting so fast and quickly that they had a hard time just trying to adapt. Ships sitting out in the ocean. Well, they have hundreds of ships sitting there,
Just
They
anchored.
anchored, and they couldn't even get for months.
Yeah.
They couldn't get into port.
Yeah.
It was all backed up. So you have
That's a
that.
great
Seemed like they
example.
got the congestion part somewhat figured out, but the
Yeah.
costs are still.
Yeah.
It's shifted. Now the new norm for containers used to was 3,000 or 3,500 is now probably 7,000-8,000.
Yeah.
Again it fluctuates around.
So
but
what about labor?
Well, labor, same thing.
Yeah, that's
Labor is
So
hard
labor
to get.
is a little different impact. I mean, the inflation is
Yes.
clearly there, but labor seemed to have gone from somewhat able to get people that you needed to be hired to where labor's just not available.
Well, not
The
only is
impact.
it not available, but labor costs I mean, the minimum wage
Yeah.
in Chicago was $6.50 or $7 an
Right.
hour.
5 years ago.
Five, well, yeah, 7 years ago.
And
It's now
as of-
$16.50.
Yeah.
1640, something like that. Yeah, just again in June, and every year, it's just going up.
Now that's
higher
the
and higher.
minimum wage.
Yeah,
We're not paying anywhere close to that. We're paying higher than that because the labor shortage is triggering us to, pay people more just to get them in. It's not
Yeah.
that they're, better qualified or not. It's the
Yeah.
cost of just getting somebody in
So
to do the work.
labor has been clearly impacted.
oh yes.
And then as far as energy costs,
Energy
Electric
costs
bill
are up.
last year was
Electric bill,
They're like
water.
crazy, right? Water.
Gas,
Yeah,
all
everything's
that's
gone
up.
up.
Real estate taxes,
Yeah.
those are up.
Yeah.
So you've got a wide variety of, almost like we were saying from the beginning. No matter where you look in business costs, they have all risen, and not by increments that we're used to in the past. This is a significant increases in all areas. And if companies aren't attuned to this and ready for this, you can't go by the old dynamic. It no longer works.
so what's the term
And-
that reflects higher prices? Inflation, I believe, right?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the
That's the
that's
term.
the term.
Yep.
So based on what we're saying in the percentages, this is hyper inflation. I mean, this is almost historical
Yes.
levels of inflation that have maintained a continuity. It wasn't like a blip. This is now, you said, the new normal of costs. So
Now you're talking manufacturers,
Yeah.
okay? Companies
Take a look at
that are
service.
producing here in the United States, and our company in particular, we've addressed it. I mean, yeah, okay, it's easy, just do price increase. Okay, fine.
Gotta cut
We've
costs.
addressed our processes. Yes, we had to do increases, but if you take a look at the percentages of the costs that gone up, our price increases were
Did
not
not.
dollar for dollar for what our actual costs went up.
yeah,
We had to improvise, streamline,
Yeah.
automate,
Yeah.
just
you-
find better,
Walk-
sources of
So
transportation.
just walk through
Yeah.
our plant,
Yeah.
okay, from a year ago or 2 years ago. You will see complete changes of where, throughput, like you said, the automation and different things that we've done to do things more efficiently, to do them with better quality, and just moving things around that we had to do to cut down costs. We couldn't just keep doing things the way we were doing them.
yeah. So as you're sharing that, Anton, it brings to mind the essence of what I hear you saying is it's the entrepreneurial perspective. And when I even say that word, I kind of get like little goosebumps because it's like a modern day warriors of how to survive. Getting hit with that kind of transformational hyperinflation in a for-profit business, it then relied on the gray matter, the thinking ability to refine these resources and take all the melt costs and try to adjust it to still be able to survive and make the profit, which the profit's what pays all the future
Well,
growth and the
The
investments.
foundation that we lay every year is through our strategic planning.
Right.
And we addressed all the various different pieces in that. And we do this every year. We spend 3 days.
So regarding the strategic planning, clearly is
So
one of the
that's- yeah.
tools.
Of the labor,
Yeah.
we address labor, we address transportation, material costs, processes, equipment that we need to buy to automate,
Right.
and the various different things by taking our entire team here at Trendler, all our managers and everybody in there, everybody here, the partners are in there, and we're brainstorming. What are the problems that we have? What are the challenges? How are we going to confront those? When are we going to confront them? How are we going to confront them? And so when these things hit like that, we're not caught totally off guard. Yet there's a lot more challenges that we haven't even addressed because we didn't see all the issues or the problems, or even realize they were going to get to those extremes.
Right.
And
So-
when you look at it, a company like Trendler, we emphasize the made in USA. We try to keep our employees busy, try to keep jobs here in the Midwest. When you get hyperinflation like that, the only alternative for companies would be to start taking a look at importing from overseas, and that's bad for the U.S. workers, because now
that's a great point.
people start, hey, costs have gone up. I'll just start taking a look at China again, and take a look at it. And, the other thing with the hyperinflation of the melt is the impact on U.S. workers.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is companies start automating processes that are being done by U.S. workers is now automated, and now those entry-level jobs are no longer there because you got AI, you got a robot, you got something doing it. And it's just, just all in all, it has bad effects on.
I mentioned that's an interesting point when you reference the looking to other lower cost options like China you referred to. If you look at the global landscape, all in all, and the global economy and international commerce, et cetera, you look at the United States and how it's positioned. And the United States right now is positioned better than any other country in the world for a number of reasons. Did you want to address any that you can think of? I'm setting this up. I have an idea of some, but first of all, our Constitution, the government itself is run on, the individual. The government's based to help the individuals, the citizens of this country prosper. That's what it is. No other country in the world focuses on its citizens. All their government is focused on the government. And I'm not judging it good or bad. It's just the amazing uniqueness of America. Secondly, the natural resource availability of America. We're energy independent, a multitude of things. We could go through all the level of details.
We can be.
Of course,
we can be energy independent.
The availability of labor, even though it's sparse, but if we start paying higher, so the point is, America has the infrastructure, has the size, and these other countries now. You think of how challenging it is for us. You take the European Union, which is governed in an entirely different way. You take China, which is a communist country. Yeah, they're producing great products and low costs and technology, but the citizens themselves, if they have a choice, they're not benefiting from all of this.
The unique advantage that America has is our ability for our citizens to innovate. It's a entrepreneurial system built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And as Andreas clearly stated, our Constitution is our operating procedure, standard operating procedure, which protects the individual from the government. It's the only document of its kind in the world that does that. All other documents protect the government from the people. And
we should make a little footnote for us to consider a podcast addressing that specific subject, because I think it's worthy. This is a consideration.
But let me just finish one more thought.
No, you could finish many.
That these costs are also affecting nations. So I mentioned individuals, are all affected by it. Companies, we talked about it. We're entrepreneurial family, entrepreneurial company. We're able to address these challenges better than most. But now you take governments, they're not as entrepreneurial as businesses are. And nations throughout the world, are dealing with these costs, doubling, tripling, and they don't know how to handle it. And we're seeing it, with real estate taxes double, minimum wage. They're trying to, raise the minimum wage, and think they're trying what they can try.
Not trying, they are.
Yeah, and so,
but they're doing that with an attempt to also address the same melt hyperinflation that's happening.
That's the driver,
right? They're trying to catch up with it. It's
not helping it.
It's politically popular, but economically it doesn't.
They're raising all the costs.
It doesn't work
because they don't create anything. Okay, the only way they get their revenue from taxes.
Governments.
It's
don't create
taxation.
anything.
That's the only place their revenue comes from.
Well,
As
the beauty to
entrepreneurs,
America too, if the taxes aren't there, they just print it. So
Yeah.
I mean,
well, but America.
So the point is
Well,
that's
A
kind
lot
of a joke, but not
countries-
really a joke.
Yeah.
We have an economy that
Yep.
we kind of can fuel to certain degrees. They got to be careful with it, but there's that element to it as well. So my point of bringing up America and its advantage, you also look at the high tech sector that we have with technology and automation and the industries that are built up around that. They're just going to continue to have America even more productive and more efficient.
To add to what Andreas just said, we as entrepreneurs with a manufacturing business in Chicago, in the United States of America, have many challenges. But the opportunities that we have
Are
compared
even
to
more.
what's going on right now with everything else are unprecedented. And our track record up till now, and we're in a transitionary period, and everybody's dealing with the same things, So
Yeah, it's a huge transition that's going on.
I was
A big reset.
I was
It's a
on
big
one of
reset.
the social media sites, just kind of scrolling through, and there was an individual on there that was, purchased groceries from Walmart, online. Boom, would order it and then go pick it up. So the person wanted to see, so he pulled up an old bill, okay, and I guess on Walmart's site, what you can do is you can say, purchase all of these items again right now.
Right.
So he had the
How long
bill-
ago?
2 years.
Two.
2.5 years
Yeah,
ago.
Fairly
It
recent.
was, he bought all the groceries he needed for the week, and it was like $143 and change.
Right.
He goes, yesterday I just clicked on it to order all the same items, exactly the same again. It was $430 something for the exact same
Over
item.
300%,
Yeah.
350%.
So so this
Now-
is
300%.
So
Is
this
that true? Is that, but
Oh, it's
he did
definitely.
it.
I would
mean,
say, you
I
definitely want
look at
to
our
question
grocery
it, but
bill,
I mean,
yeah.
things have clearly become a lot more expensive. I just saw referencing the CEO of Walmart was talking about, they track the statistics, and typically Walmart helps lower income families, affordable stuff. Well, as the hyperinflation started happening, what ended up occurring was more and more wealthy
People are
families
going there.
started shopping.
Everybody's
Right
going there.
now, Walmart is now one of the main go-tos for
everyone.
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 So the CEO stated that as a warning. I mean, obviously, they want more business to grow, but it's kind of like, why is everyone coming to Walmart to buy the stuff that historically they've been getting because of this inflation, and everybody realizes it. So anyway, just emphasizing the same point.
My wife has me going to 6 different stores just to save $2, even though it costs me 6 in gas. I just do what I'm told.
That's good.
How's that fit into all this?
I get it. Well, so I think even though the hyperinflation is causing the challenges which are apparent and obvious, and it's a global phenomenon, which is pretty prevalent, I think in the position as entrepreneurs and being in America, which we're very, very fortunate,
Blessed.
we are positioned better than, and not just we, but as Americans, to continue this next cycle of what the world is going to become.
And strong, well-run companies are going to survive.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ones
Be
that
right,
manage their
yeah.
milk costs the best.
Are going to survive.
Because if
Yeah.
you get 3, 4, 500% increases in cost,
Right.
you have to manage those resources, or you're,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Kaputski.
to sharpen our skill sets for the changes that have happened, and a lot more changes to come, and just stay aware and just stay on top of it as much as you can, as much as we can, and just control the areas that we can reach out and adjust to keep our business rolling. And
Love it. So this was a great subject. I mean, melt, material,
money,
and
Ener-
money.
energy, labor.
Material,
And I mean
energy, labor, and transportation.
Right.
cost of money.
And looking at that concept on that paradigm kind of is enlightening, and looking at it in the context of governments being affected, businesses being affected, individuals being affected.
All the
And the
above.
whole world
And
being affected.
it kind of, for me, kind of summarized, the subject, which previous was little convoluted, but now it gives it more context for me. So the source did a great job with that topic. And is there any
awesome.
other closing comments, thoughts regarding the?
Great topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Awesome.
America is the place to be. Chicago, Illinois, place to be.
Yeah.
We need to get ready for the next push.
Yep.
Stay sharp.
Yep.
Stay focused. And stay loose.
Good.
Be ready to move.
Good
Right.
team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Build your team.
So us brothers, focusing on the battles, are now pursuing the bounty.
Nice.
Great. So with that, we would then conclude this episode. We thank you so much for listening, watching. If you have any thoughts, comments, anything, please let us know. If there's any subjects you'd like for us to address as well, we'd be interested to listen to that also. And please watch us on all mediums that presented. And what are some of those?
Subscribe to YouTube. We're over 115 subscribers. We want to get to 1,000.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wonderful. And thank you. Till next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.